Before we get into this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button to be the first to see our newest videos. Number 15. Gary Turner, aka the Elastic Man. Gary Turner of the United Kingdom has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, or EDS, which is a disorder that affects the connective tissue of the skin, ligaments, and internal organs. This gives people with EDS loose and elastic skin, flexible joints, and often they are tall and lanky. As a result of his EDS, Gary has the most elastic skin in the world. For example, he can stretch the skin on his stomach 6.25 inches. A side note is that, according to a fan theory, a very famous comic book villain who's known for being thin and lanky with very stretchy skin may have EDS. That character is, of course, Batman's arch-nemesis, the Joker. Number 14. Conchetta Antico, aka the woman who sees every color. The human eye is an amazing example of evolution. They're complex organs and the average person can see about 1 million different colors. However, a very small group of women have a condition called tetrachromacy and they can see up to 100 million different colors. The condition is incredibly rare and only women can have it. One woman who has it is Australian artist Conchetta Antico. Her paintings try to show the way that she sees the colors. It's believed that the color's caused by a fourth cone. Most people only have 3 cones because we mostly evolved away from the fourth cone millions of years ago. But apparently, a small group of women still have it. Number 13. Ben Underwood, aka the Echolocator. Ben Underwood lost both of his eyes when he was just 3 years old due to cancer. Yet, he was determined to be just like any other kid, and he learned to traverse the world using echolocation, similar to Marvel's Daredevil. Ben would click his tongue and he could pick up audio clues of where objects were. As a result of his echolocation skills, when Ben was a teenager, he was able to play foosball, basketball, football, and most of all, he loved to rollerblade and he was fearless on his skates. Sadly, Ben passed away on January 19, 2009 when the cancer that took his eyes returned. He was just 16 years old. Number 12. Lu Thao Lin, aka Mr. Magnet. Lu Thao Lin of Malaysia has the ability to press metal objects to his skin, like coins, utensils, and even something as heavy as an iron, and it'll stay stuck to him. However, the name Mr. Magnet's a bit misleading, because Lu doesn't actually have a magnetic pull. Instead, his skin has a high level of friction, which gives his skin more suction, allowing him to stick objects to his skin. Number 11. Veronica Sider, aka the Human Magnifying Glass. If you have glasses or contact lenses and hate wearing them, then you might want to have the same superpower as Veronica Sider of Germany. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, she has the sharpest eyesight. Her eyesight is 20 times better than the average person, and she could identify a person at more than a mile away. Number 10. The family with unbreakable bones. Remember Bruce Willis's character in Unbreakable who was essentially invincible because his bones were really dense? Well, it turns out that condition actually exists. It's caused by a very rare genetic mutation called LRP5, and only a small group of people in the entire world have it. One such case was discovered in 1994 when an American man, whose identity was never made public, was in a horrible car crash, but he was essentially uninjured. Just to be on the safe side, doctors x-rayed the man and found that his bone density was 8 times higher than the average human. A few years later, the doctors found other people with the same genetic mutation, and they were all genetically linked to the man in the car crash. One family lived in Nebraska, and many members had very high bone density, which caused them to have square jaws, and they had a difficult time swimming because they just sank. Then later, in Alabama, a man tried to get a hip replacement, but his bones were too dense, and the surgeons couldn't drill the screws into the bone. Number 9. The Bajau people, aka the Aqua people. How long can you hold your breath? 40 seconds? A minute? Well, most people can hold it for 30 seconds to about 2 minutes. However, the Bajau people, who are sometimes called the Sea Gypsies of Malaysia and Indonesia, can hold their breath for up to 5 minutes. Not only that, but they dive to depths of 65 feet, where the pressure is 3 times stronger than it is on the surface. This puts even more pressure on the lungs, making it much more difficult to hold their breath. Yet, the Bajau people have developed their ability over many generations. Number 8. Ashlyn Blocker, aka the girl who can't feel pain. Not being able to feel pain would certainly have its upsides when it comes to fighting crime. After all, that is essentially Kick-Ass's only skill. The problem is, in real life, the condition where someone doesn't feel pain is quite dangerous. While pain may not feel good, it's important to humans because it's a warning system. For example, if you touch your finger to a hot burner, your hand will automatically pull away from the burner to avoid further injuring yourself. People who don't feel pain don't have the same reaction and could end up severely hurting themselves without realizing it. The irony of not feeling pain is that you actually have to be much more careful to not hurt yourself. One such person to have the disease is Ashlyn Blocker of Patterson, Georgia. From a young age, the syndrome has been a problem. For example, when Ashlyn was an infant that was teething, she nearly chewed her tongue off. Then, many times through her childhood, she was hurt bad enough that it would make grown-ups cry, yet she didn't feel a thing. However, she's now a teenager and better understands how careful she has to be, but we're betting that she'll have the freakiest party trick as an adult. Number 7. Shakuntala Devi, aka the Human Computer. Shakuntala Devi's life started off very differently than most math prodigies. Born to a poor family in Bangalore, India in 1929, her father was a magician and he saw how gifted his daughter was when it came to math. The problem was that education was expensive. On the other hand, Shakuntala's amazing math skills could be used to make money from a stage show. Her father decided to take the profit route. By the time Shakuntala was 5, she was extracting cube roots in her head in front of an audience. Before she was even a preteen, she was appearing at universities, and then in her teens she moved to England to study. As an adult, Shakuntala traveled around the world performing her math skills in front of huge audiences. She appeared on several talk shows where they would ask her something like, "What's the cube root of 2,186,875,592?" And Shakuntala would glance at the number and her answer was immediate and always correct. She passed away at the age of 83 in 2013. Number 6. Wim Hof, aka the Iceman. Someone who probably laughed at all the people trying the Ice Bucket Challenge is Dutch daredevil Wim Hof, also known as Iceman. As his nickname suggests, Wim is able to withstand incredibly cold temperatures for extended periods of time. In fact, he holds 20 Guinness World Records for being able to withstand the cold. One of his most notable feats was trying to climb Mount Everest in nothing but shorts and shoes. However, he only reached an elevation of 22,000 feet. What a wuss, right? However, we should point out a foot injury prevented him from climbing and not the cold. In 2009, Wim made it to the top of Mount Kilimanjaro in his shorts within 2 days. He also has the record for the longest time in an ice bath, which is 1 hour and 52 minutes and 42 seconds. Number 5. The Raramuri, aka the Unbreakable Runners. The Tarahumara people are the Aboriginal people of northwest Mexico. They had widely dispersed settlements, so they developed amazing long-distance running skills. The runners, called the Rarumuri, can run 200 miles in one session over 2 days. This is through some incredibly treacherous terrain as well. Amazingly, they did these long runs just wearing huaraches, which are soles and laces made from leather. However, modern-day huaraches are made from rubber. Number 4. Nicky Freeman, aka the man who doesn't age. One of the more complex superpowers is not being able to age, or aging very slowly. Is it really a power or more of a curse? Well, Nicky Freeman of Australia has lived his entire life with that so-called superpower. Due to a very mysterious disease called Syndrome X, Nicky ages 1 year every 4 years. That means that since he's 45 years old today, he only has the body of an 11-year-old. Number 3. Stephen Wiltshire, aka the Human Camera. Stephen Wiltshire was born in 1974 in London, England, and at the age of 3 he was diagnosed with autism. Due to his autism, Stephen has the amazing ability of essentially being a human camera. He has become world famous because he can draw complex and detailed city landscapes after just seeing them once. His memory is so good that often his pictures are entire cities. Stephen has been the subject of many documentaries, and he has an art gallery in London. Number 2. Isao Machi, aka the Yaido Master. When it comes to super senses and reflexes, it would be hard to find someone more agile than Japanese Iaido master Asao Machi. He's done some amazing feats, 4 of which got him a Guinness World Record. Notably, while using a katana, he was able to cut a BB bullet traveling at 217 miles per hour and a baseball traveling at 310 miles per hour, which is almost 3 times the speed of the fastest recorded fastball. Number 1. Liam Hoekstra, aka Superboy. One of the most common superpowers is super strength. Amazingly, there are 2 known cases of superhuman strength in the world. The incredibly rare condition is called myostatin-related muscle hypertrophy. How it works is that the body produces a protein called myostatin, which affects muscle growth. For people with the condition, they have low myostatin, which makes it easier for them to develop muscles, and they're less likely to retain fat. As we mentioned earlier, there are only 2 known cases of this condition in the entire world. One of them is Liam Hoekstra of Grand Rapids, Michigan. The condition emerged early in his life, and by the time Liam was 5 months old, he could do the Iron Cross, which is difficult for grown adults to do. By the time he was 8 months old, which is months earlier than most babies start to walk, Liam was able to do pull-ups. When he was 19 months old, he could hang by his feet and do inverted crunches. Needless to say, we expect Liam to crush the American Ninja Warrior course by the time he's 12. As for the other case, it's an unnamed German boy. According to medical reports, he is even stronger than Liam. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and subscribe for more.